Hello and welcome to a channel update. This update is going to tell you what's going to be happening in May and what's going to be happening in the future going forward, and it's your opportunity to give feedback, comments, let me know what you're thinking, let me have a view into the mind of the viewer. Because, to be honest, this channel doesn't work without this back and forth. If I don't hear from you, then I'm just going to keep doing stuff you don't like. If you don't hear from me, then you're going to be like, I have no idea what's going to be on this channel. There might not be nothing I like. I'm going to go look somewhere else. So, you know, we need this little back and forth to just align where we're at. So, let's start with April. April was fairly awful in terms of a lot of things. Basically, yeah, we had all the hacking stuff. We had all of the, random stuff. We had the fact that everyone in the world is now quarantined and all that sort of stuff, There's problems. There's problems. May, for me, is going to be a good month, and for the channel, hopefully as well. In May, I am working a significant amount less in my job, because we're moving down the work week, I have holidays to take. Essentially, I'm working a very small number of days in May. This means there's a lot of time to focus on the channel and to kind of reset and get things back on track. So, what we're going to be doing in May, we're going to be doing streaming. We're going to be doing more series. We're going to be doing consistent series. It's going to be great. It's going to be a fun time. We maybe do some one-off episodes of things. Maybe do some one-off, here's a thing we're doing, or here's a tutorial, or here's all that sort of stuff. That's the kind of stuff we might be seeing. Channel art maybe might change. Thumbnails might change. It's a channel revitalization, I'd say. It's a good time. And a me revitalization. Things have got a little bit, as I imagine for everyone, everything just kind of became chaos for a little bit and a lot of things got left kind of in the backside, it kind of off to the side, away from where you actually want them to be. So it's going to be a good month, hopefully. Anyway, let's start with the series that we have on currently, and then we can move on to talk about what series are going to be on and some of the other stuff we mentioned. So, Crusader Kings 2 Legacy of the Indo-Norse Scotlander. This series is we're going in the right direction. We've achieved one half of the goal, and now we're kind of ramping up for the second half, and I think it's good. I think we went for the right. I think it's a series that has a good direction and a good purpose. I do think though that it's not quite as good as some of the other Crusader Kings series I put out there, and I think the reason for it is that it's very, by its nature, mechanically focused. Like, it's almost 100% mechanically focused. It's like, we are going for 2 achievements, and we're going by the most efficient means possible through, well, maybe not the most efficient, but you get what I mean. We're going efficiently towards our goal. And you kind of lose a little bit of the roleplay charm with that. So I think next series we may reverse that slightly and do a little bit more of a roleplay series. We'll see how it goes, but, I'm still enjoying it. It's nice to do something a little bit different for a change, because it's a very different style that we're doing. There's a lot of raiding people for money. We're playing a Republic now, halfway through, so we're playing Tribal, which I hadn't done in a while. We're playing Republic, so it's a lot of difference in terms of our series from the previous one that we did, and it's a lot of relearning some old mechanics that were like, I've just gone to the wayside because I've done so many of the same type of series in a row. So it's cool. It's cool. I also think that 1CK2 series is kinda alright as a place to be. I think that Stellaris, we'll just talk about that next after we do this, but Stellaris is kind of getting the same it's getting the same response that a CK2 series might get. I mean, it's not quite there at the same level, but I think that it's cool. It's a little bit more variety, and I like that a little bit better than having multiple Crusader Kings series, because it's very hard to motivate, if I need to record them all on the same day, to be like, I'm going to record 3 hours of Crusader Kings, and then I'm going to record another 3 hours of a different Crusader Kings campaign. It's just it's odd, there's a disconnect, and you also I find that I don't remember what we're doing as well, because I'm like, oh, wait, no, do we have an heir who's doing this thing? No, because that's in the other series. Or do we have, are we plotting against somebody? No, we're not doing any plotting. Again, that's the other series. So, yeah, I like how it's going right now. Stellaris is really good. I like that it's got this kind of back and forth learning thing. It had a lot of good comments and interaction. It kind of suffered a little bit from the hack, I think, because it's obviously comments just dropped right down because there's a lot of people who weren't looking at it every day because it was just a week of break. So it's starting to ramp back up a little bit, but I feel like for a lot of this series that I have on right now, we're going to need to jump to the side slightly, and once we end it and move on to a new thing. Stellaris, though, we have a natural end point in sight at some point, so I think that we don't need to like rush it towards anything. I don't think any of the series need to rush towards an ending, but you know, I think it would benefit from like a new start. Maybe we're not going to play Stellaris next. I don't know. It depends when it ends. There are some other games that have come out. There's something like I think the game's called Old World that came out, which looks or is coming out, which seems like it could be interesting. It's in early access. It looks a bit like Civ. When I say it looks a bit like Civ, I mean to the untrained eye, it looks exactly like Civ. But I've heard apparently it's like Civ Crusader Kings, and I don't really get why people keep putting Crusader Kings on things. And they're like, it has like families and things and traits. Well, a lot of the time it's just like that's it. That's as deep as it goes. And it's like it's not really the same game. But anyway, I digress. It does have like weird events that pop up as well, which is something I do like about Crusader Kings. So you get a little bit of variety, a little bit of flavor in there. So it could be fun. I don't know about it though. There's a lot of people who already have access to the game, so I don't know how that would go out on the channel, whether that would be well received. Could be. I don't know when it comes out either, but we'll think about it. I was trying to think if there was anything else that's gonna come out that's catch my eye. Not particularly, but yeah, potentially something like that. We could try another Paradox game. Hearts of Iron 4 could be something cool to try again. I don't think I'll play EU4 again. I think EU4 is kind of... I don't have any desire to play it. I think the problem with EU4 is that they made the game, in my opinion... Now, the people who play it, I think, like each DLC as it goes on, but to me, they've made it worse with each DLC because they've added so many new mechanical layers and changed so much like of the game that it's become bloated to get into. Which it was already because of it being a Paradox game is bloated to get into. So like with Stellaris, I feel like they cleaned a lot of it up. They made it a lot smoother of an experience. I feel with EU4, they've really done the opposite. It's the numbers person game, in my view. It's the game where people will create a spreadsheet and play the game by spreadsheet. I think that I'm more attracted to the Paradox games that are less like that. Which I think is also why I don't like Imperator very much. I think it's similar. But I think Hearts of Iron is a little bit more in the... it's a little bit further away from that. It's a little bit more into the... hey, we're doing the war. There's a little bit of context around things. There's a little bit of, you know, flavor, a little bit of roleplay kind of stuff of like, I'm going to try and go for this type of thing. What if this happened? So, you know, there's some interesting stuff in there. We could try Hearts of Iron. Victoria 2 maybe, although I don't have a great desire to do that. Could just try a different type of strategy game entirely. Could try something like Civ or... yeah, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of things we could fit into that slot. Also, we could have nothing in that slot because it's slot 5 and slot 5 is optional. Take it out, just have a streaming slot instead. You know, something like that. Could work. Extend one of the other slots and then fill in with that or something. I don't know. I have seen people saying they want more Crusader, like they want more of one Crusader King series. In my experience, the reason why I don't put that out is because people will only, like, there's diminishing returns, basically. If I put out one episode, let's say it gets 100 views, I'll put out the second episode, and then actually, what will happen is, let's say the second episode gets 50 views or something. And it's a bit weird, because, like, the first episode seems to get more views. But then both of their views for the series will go down as time passes. Like, it'll then actually be like 75 and then like 30. And then it will just keep dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. Well, I find that if you put out one episode a day, you tend to get like a flat number. And then you get the same flat number the next day, the same flat number the next day. And I think it's just that kind of, you're watching one video, one day, and then that's fine. I think that's kind of how I see it. So instead of doing, that's why I had 2 series running of Crusader Kings at one point, because that seemed like a better compromise, because you get less diminishing returns, I find, that way, because people could watch one series or the other series. I don't know. And then if you wanted to watch more, you could watch both. But yeah, I don't know. I think Stellaris kind of fills that niche a little bit. Anyway, what are we going to talk about next? Well, let's go back to this top of the list. We have Mountain Blade. Mountain Blade's been fun. I'm kind of done with it. In that I want to just achieve our goal and then be done. There's not a lot else that we need to do in Mountain Blade. It's an early access. There's some things I feel like aren't finished yet, which is fine because it's an early access. But like, the start of the game gives you a purpose, and then it kind of goes, all right, figure it out, which is fine. But I feel like what they were aiming for this quest system that they put into the game is a little bit more structure. And I would see that quests are the kind of thing you could easily add into a game during early access. So you go like, all the mechanics for the game are sorted, right? And now all we're doing is adding in flavor quests which direct you towards things. Like, hey, here's a quest to go and speak to this person, or here's a quest, go play this minigame with this guy, and we'll give you a reward for it, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like that's what's missing from the game right now, is like I want to grab this and do that over there kind of thing. Like, a reason to move around the map. Because right now, optimally for me, at least as far as it seems, we've got our castle next to a major city. So what I do is I drop off some troops at the castle to fill up the garrison, go to the city, buy a bunch of goods, go to the city to the south, sell the goods, buy a bunch more goods that sell well in the north, pick up a bunch of troops, go back to the castle, drop off all the troops, go to the city again, sell some goods. If I don't sell all the goods, I'll go to the north, pick up some more troops, buy some goods, sell some goods, and then head back to the city, and then I'll just do that non-stop. And there's nothing to break that from me. Unless there's a war declared, there's nothing to break that. And even the wars don't seem to impact you that much right now, so that's what I feel is missing from the game, and that's what I want to come back to the game later and see whether they've changed it. Or whether they think that something else is missing from the game, and maybe they're right, and that something else is what's going to push it forward and make it really, really good. Right now, to me, it seems like a polished warband, but it's still not that polished. Well, I guess you could say it's polished, but it hasn't changed what fundamentally warband is, and Mountain Blade is. But I think Banner, for it to be like the next game in the series, I was expecting like a little bit more of a... Like, right now it seems like it's a UI change, which is fine. The UI or at least, maybe it's just my nostalgia or memory or whatever you're saying for Warband. It's like, maybe I'm imagining it was better than it was. But to me, it seems like they put a coat of paint on the top and gone, yep, that's the game. But obviously they've been working on it for like, 10 years? So they've done more in the back end, but I just don't see it yet. But hey, I don't know. I also didn't play vanilla Mountain Blade Warband, so I only played a mod, so there could be a whole bunch of stuff that the mod added in, which is now in the main game or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, moving on, Baldur's Gate. Well, the most recent episodes of Baldur's Gate are filled with salt, but that is entirely because apparently it's DLC that was released, kind of expecting players to have already played through the entire game, and then you're like, this is something else to do, kind of content. So it's meant to be difficult, it's meant to be very different from the main game, and it's very, very much meant to be like, it makes more sense because it's meant to be a culture shock. But apart from that, Baldur's Gate has been, it's been fun. I'm happy for that we've done the series. I would like it to end at some point. I didn't say this with Mountain Blade, but it is true. Mountain Blade and Baldur's Gate suffered a lot from the hack, because there's a lot less people watching both of those series right now. Mountain Blade, I think, about quartered the viewership for the series, something like that. Baldur's Gate, I think, halved it. It's hard to tell, my analytics are all messed up, because it's like, here are your top search terms, and it's just some, is it called kanji? Yeah, anyway, the weird symbols. And I'm like, alright then. And it's like, here are your traffic sources. Here are your, here's who's watching your videos. And I'm like, all of this is wrong. All of these stats are wrong. So I need to wait a month, basically, to see relevant stats. I mean, I could lower the time I'm looking at stats for, but that doesn't really make any sense, because if I lower the time, then all the stats are a little bit out of whack, because it's, with all stats, stats over time make sense, but in a small amount don't make a lot of sense, if that makes sense to you. Like, if I look at a week's worth, it's not necessarily representative of a month's worth or a year's worth or whatever. Right, anyway. So, yeah. Baldur's Gate, I think it would be cool to end it, go and do something else, and then come back, and, like, then it gets its momentum going again. I can be like, we're doing the DLC, or we're doing Baldur's Gate 2, and then it gets, like, a surge of momentum forward. I think that could be good for that series. So, we'll think about it. I don't know. There is a combat DLC as well. I have no idea if I'm going to play that. As in, I believe that there's one that's kind of more combat focused. We'll see. Anyway. Oh, I should also say, in terms of viewership dropping, Crusader Kings didn't drop. And that was expected from me, because Crusader Kings is a series which has, like, people are coming to the channel to see Crusader Kings. Consistent, like, wait a week, you're still going to have people waiting to see Crusader Kings. So that's kind of fine. Stellaris as well, viewership didn't drop that much, but interaction did, if that makes sense, in that series. So that's fine. But it also might be for Stellaris that actually quite a lot of the game we've already gone through. Like, there's a lot more stuff to think about in the early game for Stellaris, and as you get later on, there's less to interact with. So I don't know. There could be multiple things, and that's one of the reasons, like stats are all kind of messed up right now, so I don't know. It's hard to make assumptions, because it's like, is this because of the thing that happened, or was this happening already? Like, it's difficult to work out. Anyway, I'm just rambling on that. Fire Emblem, its views didn't drop at all, and that was also expected, because like Crusader Kings, it's something that people are coming to the channel to see now, because we've already done, well, 2.5 other runs of it. By half, meaning we did the DLC. So, like, for the third run, you're still getting people who are like, yeah, I want to see the third run. I'm going to wait for this, because I was expecting it. Also, it started after the hack, didn't it? Yeah, so that makes sense as well. So, it didn't really get affected by there being a lack of momentum. So, yeah, Fire Emblem's still going well. I mean, what can I say about it? It's the same game as it was for the first 2 playthroughs. If you didn't watch them, you're not going to watch the third one. But I'm having a lot of fun. And if you have been, like, on the fence about it, all I'm going to say is it just keeps getting better. As we go through, it keeps getting better. This playthrough we're doing right now is pretty much, like, the main campaign in my view. Like, the other ones are fine, but this one is, like, every character is ingrained into the main story. Like, heavily. It's, properly in there. This is a culmination of everything we've done so far. We've got all the background knowledge. We're going into the main thing, and we're going to get a lot of, like, answers and lore out of it. And then the final playthrough that we got, the church route, is definitely, as far as I can tell, it's like, this is where all the lore is. Like, this is the point where we get to learn everything about the heritage of our character. We get to learn everything about the faith, and it's the kind of like, it's a cool route to go in. So I'm interested to see how it goes. But yeah, there's a lot of Fire Emblem left, is what I'm getting at. Channel update. That's what we're doing right now. In terms of other stuff, I did kind of work it out a little bit. Cyberpunk, if it comes out when it says it's going to come out, that it will finish. Oh, sorry, Fire Emblem will finish roughly as Cyberpunk comes up. So maybe that's something we could switch on to, but also, like, we have many other things that could have stopped by then or started by then. If the world is still the world we know at that point, who knows? Like, September is a long time away. Is it? It's like 4 months. Yeah, relatively long time, all things considering. Baldur's Gate 3 early access is currently set for late 2020. Assuming that that's right, my plan would be to play the early access, assuming it's like Divinity, and maybe do the first area of it, and then just go, hey, we're done with this until the game comes out, which seems fine to me. Baldur's Gate DLC, I don't know if I'm going to do it right after Baldur's Gate. It will depend on the ending of Baldur's Gate and how into it I was, if you know what I mean. Like, whether the ending gets me at the point where I'm like, I want to play more, or whether the ending's like, yeah, that's fine, I'll come back to it later. You know, that's pretty much where I'm at with that. Life is Strange 2, very likely we're going to do Life is Strange 2 in May, because if I have a lot of time off, that is the perfect game for time off, because I can record that completely separate from comments, and it benefits from being separate from comments in my view, because it's like there's not like a, because I think I'm trying to think the right way of saying it, like Life is Strange seems like the kind of game where people want to see you play through it to see how you react to things that they reacted to, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not a thing where you want to be taking interaction from people in the comments and going, well, I did this and I think it was a good outcome, so you should do this. Like, that doesn't really work for it, because it's very it's only narrative focused. There's like no mechanics at all, pretty much. So, you know, it's definitely something we can finish off then. RimWorld, I don't know. I put this as a comment for myself to work out how to fix it, but in previous RimWorld series, it got low views. Why did it get low views? Well, I assume because there's a lot of RimWorld content out there, and that my series were generally just playing vanilla RimWorld. I need to have a purpose, if you know what I mean. I need to have like a, what makes this series special? So that's something I need to think about. I've been thinking about that a lot for some of these series, like, why would you watch me play it in particular? Like, if I put Crusader Kings up here, I can say exactly why you want to watch me play Crusader Kings. You want to watch me play Crusader Kings because I'm very knowledgeable about the game, and I know, and in terms of how to make it entertaining, I'm assuming at base level, personality-wise, people who watch are like me, because otherwise, why would you be doing this? But I'm knowledgeable about the game, and I'm bringing that knowledge and using that to make the playthrough unique, as in, it's a playthrough with that, and then we tend to have a theme. So for this one, it's like knowledge plus achievement run, you know? That kind of fits together and makes a series, and it gives it a purpose. Mountain Blade, see, I can't come up with a purpose apart from I'm playing a new game. You see, there's no purpose. I mean, we have a build in the game, which I guess is something, but beyond that, the series has no theme. There's no like, we're doing this, because I didn't know what to do in Mountain Blade. I didn't work it out, and maybe I should have done that beforehand. I should have said, we're specifically going for this, and then really hit at it, like really go in and say every bit of SEO to be like, let's say I was going to be a trading person in the game. I could have been every bit of SEO be like, trading in Mountain Blade. This is our traders. We're going to go trade. We're going to go really focus on the trade mechanics and go really deep into it. That could have been cool. I think that could have worked. I could have been like, we're going to be arena fighters, and gone in there, and it just needed a little bit more planning, I think, to make that more exciting. Baldur's Gate, it kind of also doesn't have a purpose apart from playing the game blind. I mean, yeah, again, we have a build, but I didn't focus on the build. You see where I'm going here with some of these ideas. Stellaris, I would say, is very different. Stellaris has multiple things. Now, you know how Crusader Kings, I said I was knowledgeable about the game. Stellaris benefits from the exact opposite. Stellaris is I'm learning the game, and I'm taking, you know, things in from the comments, and there's interaction, and there's growth throughout the series, and that's kind of enticing. And then, on top of that, there is the other layer of, you know, we have a very specific theme of what type of thing I wanted to create in it. We're exploring new DLC. All of that, you see her all in a way that for a series, for me, fits all much better together and makes it a better experience, because it's the experience of, you know, it's like everything works together to make a narrative as you go through it. Right? That I think works well. Fire Emblem, to be fair, was pretty much in Baldur's Gate camp until we did more of it. So it benefits from length in terms of its series, and it benefits from mechanical depth coming in as we go through it, and narrative depth, I'd say, as we go through it. Like, what you're getting in Fire Emblem is you're getting 100% of the game, and you're getting the narrative, you're getting different builds as we go through it, you're getting all sorts of cool stuff from that, you're getting payoff from that. So like, playing the first playthrough, it doesn't have a lot in it, but then the second playthrough, you've then got, hey, we've got the lore knowledge and the mechanical knowledge from the first playthrough leading into the second playthrough. That gets added on by the DLC, that gets added on by the next one, and that I feel makes a better series, and I think that worked quite well. I would almost say that it's similar to Pathfinder when we did that as well. Although Pathfinder had the problem that Baldur's Gate had, it was unique in the fact that it's such a long game that there aren't that many people who've played it all the way through on YouTube. So it's, again, that's its unique selling point. And there was a very specific build I went for. So, you know, that worked well together. So it's just something I've been thinking about. It doesn't mean that there's going to be huge changes completely with the channel. It's just like thinking of narrative and thinking of how to make things better. Anyway, I've been rambling on for like 26 minutes. What's the other thing I wanted to talk about? Baldur's Gate 2 we'll do later. I did see Horizon Zero Dawn was coming out. That could be fun to do, but again, if I'm going to focus on what I'm focusing on when I was talking about all the themes and the ideas for what we're going to do, if I was going to play that, what I would need to do is come up with a compelling reason for this to be on the channel and for you to watch it. So that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. Like Morrowind, there is actually compelling reason. Morrowind, we played through the game first time. The first series had no compelling reason and had no, particular thing, apart from we're playing an old game I haven't played, right? Morrowind Season 2, if I do a modded one, you then got we played the first one, we played through the game, so you got a little bit of knowledge in there, you got something, you got like this is leading into more, so you got build up, you got mods coming in, so you got a little bit of difference there. You see, you can almost see how that series can be put together. It's not quite there, but it's something. And that's the kind of bit I'm looking at. I'm like, what can we do to make things better? I have put some other things down here that I've been thinking of. This one I put at the bottom right here. It's just because I was watching Quill18. Don't know if you've heard of him. You probably have if you're watching this channel. He does strategy games. He's really, really good. But I was watching him on Twitch, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember. I used to love these games. So that could be fun. But maybe that could even be a stream thing. I don't know. Or maybe that's something that we could do in a different style. That's a game where there's a lot of like clicking through menus and things, and just it's a game where maybe we could change it to be like hey, why don't we do like once a week we'll play the game. We'll play through our matches for the thing, or we'll put up a video for the matches on the day that the matches would happen in game, and then we'll do like other things throughout the week of like, hey, we're doing scouting, so we're gonna go look for players in this episode, and that's it. And then it's kind of like it builds up a series and it builds up a season. You can be like, I don't need to watch everything, but I could watch the match days. We may do a monthly roundup or something. You could see how that could be fun. So, yeah, there's stuff to think about there. There's definitely stuff to think about. There's a nugget of a good idea in there, I think. Persona 5 was one I put in here, which is something I want to play. Don't currently have a PlayStation 4, which I think would be the major issue, given it's only on that, but we'll consider it. But anyway, we got some in there. What's the other one I said up here? Oh, right, yeah, I need to put it on here. Old World. That's the name of this game. It's by Soren Johnsonson, I think is his name. I might have completely butchered that. That might not be his name. Anyway, I think Soren's his first name. And he's the lead. I think he was the lead designer of Civ 4, and he also did a game called Off-World Trading Company, which I haven't played, but I'd have watched, and it looked really good. So, yeah, there's some cool stuff in there. Anyway, that's about half an hour of a channel update. Hope you enjoyed it. The music that we had was RimWorld royalty music, as in it's from the RimWorld royalty DLC. The only thing we didn't talk about was streaming stuff. Basically, if you have an idea for a game, let me know. We could try stuff out. I mean, Crusader Kings is an option. Problem with Crusader Kings is that it's a CPU-heavy game, and streaming will make the game run slower, which is what we've discovered before. I have a more beefy PC than before, but we could see. Yeah, anyway, I don't have a great idea of what we do with streaming. City Skylines is always one that I thought would be quite nice, but I don't know. I guess streaming's the kind of thing where you kind of jump in and see. And for streaming, I would be planning to maybe initially be on YouTube, but in the end, I would be planning on streaming either dual streaming to Twitch and YouTube or just purely to Twitch, but you're not allowed to do on YouTube those videos that say, I'm now streaming on Twitch. I mean, you can, I think you can set it so that you can put like a little pop-up on videos saying, this person's now streaming, but you can't actually put up a video pushing people to Twitch, so there's some slight different stuff in there. I don't know whether you can still actually do that. I'm streaming over here thing on YouTube. I can't remember how you used to be able to do it, but anyway. I think we maybe did it once, possibly when we were doing Pathfinder a long time ago, as in the, not the Pathfinder the game, but, not Pathfinder the video game, Pathfinder the tabletop game. We maybe did it then, but I don't think we did. Anyway, right, I'm going to end the episode there. Episode? Update? Whatever you're calling it. Tell me what you thought. If you watched this far, thank you. Again, it's great. Happy to be back, by the way. Happy for all the nice comments that people gave me when I came back, in terms of like, I'm so happy the channel's back. I'm so into this. I'm loving it. There's so much more I could talk about as well, but you know, half an hour update seems about the right amount of time. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.